Hello, EDU 410, and welcome back to class. I hope that you had a restful Easter break in spite of these circumstances. And so, what I wanted to do today is just take a little bit of time to talk through and walk through your group presentation. One of the final requirements for EDU 410. And as we do that, um, what I would suggest is that you would jot down any questions or concerns that you might have, because we are scheduled to meet together on Monday, April 20th. Each team has a 20-minute slot to meet in real time with me via WebEx. And so if I'm unable to answer your questions in this video, then that would be an appropriate time to just clarify any of those you might have questions about. This looks a little different for all of us, myself included, trying to wrap my mind around how we can still engage in what I think is an important research and presentation portion of this class without the face-to-face element. And so I've been thinking about this for a week or two and making some minor tweaks and things here or there. And I think for the most part it should work out pretty slick. There may be some areas of concern as we move forward, and we'll address those as need be. So what is this all about? The vision for EDU 410 for your presentation is not necessarily that you would teach to a mock class. So I don't want you to imagine that you're teaching to middle school students. You are preparing a presentation, and your audience is or are your classmates, your peers. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is to think back over the duration of our time together, all of the different topics that we have studied, all of the different issues that have come up. And this is your opportunity as a group to take a deeper dive, right? As we talk about Bloom's taxonomy or Webb's depth of knowledge, to go a little bit deeper, a little bit higher, and investigate one of these topics a little bit more thoroughly, and then share your findings with our learning community. And so what I provide for you here is a list of topics that in previous semesters that I've taught this course have been topics that students have been interested in diving deeper and investigating further. You certainly don't have to choose one of these. I don't want to limit you in any way. But I think it's worth considering these topics just to get your brain thinking about and sort of reflecting upon what have we discussed, what have we read about, what issues do you have sort of like a heart pull towards, are you passionate about? And this is going to be important for us to determine during our meeting on Monday, because your group wants to leave that meeting having a sense of, this is the topic that I'm going to begin researching. Okay? And so we'll talk a little bit more about that on Monday, but this is the first step really to determine, okay, what is it that we're going to be sharing information, researching, and then sharing information about to our classmates. I have a few other tasks that you want to consider prior to our meeting on Monday. You want to think about topics that are important to you, like I just mentioned. You also want to view the lesson planning template. Now, you don't have to use this template. For those of you who are in EDU 304, this is going to look very similar to your lesson planning template. And what I've done is I've just accessed the USF long lesson plan on the Frederickson School of Education page. And this is the lesson plan that you'll be using when you student teach, when you complete your residency. And I've just condensed it a little bit. In order to make this fit into sort of a 20-minute presentation, I've taken what I think are the big 4 or 5 major pieces of lesson design, and I've just laid that out. Now, you don't have to use this template. It's just one option. What you will need to do, every participant, every student will need to submit a lesson plan to me, and that might be the same as everyone else in your group, but I need each of you to submit it individually as an accountability measure. But this is just one form of lesson planning template, just a way for you to organize your thoughts and thinking about how you're going to present this information. Now, you're not going to create this lesson plan on Monday, but I would like you to view it just so you have some idea of kind of the pace and the organization of the lesson. I'm also going to ask you, once you've determined your topic, to complete an evidence review. Okay, and that evidence review is over a research article, a journal article, a reputable website, a chapter in an academic textbook that's related to your topic of interest. So again, you can't complete this evidence review until your group has determined what topic you're going to be presenting on, but that is another important piece of this, and it's a template that allows you to, as you're reading that research, pick out what is most important and applicable, and then you can bring that evidence review, rather than the whole academic article or book chapter or whatever, into future meetings with your team so that you're able to pick and choose out of all of your evidence reviews which information is the most important. And then you already have the citation in APA style that you can use in your reference slide. And then also I ask you to view the team rubric. Okay, and I'm going to get to all of those here at the end of this video, but that team rubric is going to give you some idea of how you're going to be assessed for this team presentation, this group presentation. And that's a rubric that you don't need to do anything with other than make sure you're including all of the aspects, because I'm going to be completing that over you as you're presenting. How do we break down the points a little bit here? Well, you are going to be submitting a lesson plan, every student individually. That'll be worth 5 points towards the total in this class. You will also be completing and submitting, uploading an evidence review that you will use in your group discussions in order to inform the presentation. You'll upload that finished evidence review, and that'll be an additional 10 points. As a group, when you are presenting, you need to have a graphic organizer, a note sheet of sorts related to your topic that students can complete while they view your presentation. Now, as a group, you will complete one graphic organizer, just like as a group you will complete one lesson plan, but that graphic organizer needs to be uploaded by every single student. So all 3 of you or 4 of you or 5 of you will upload the same graphic organizer. And then the team rubric is worth 12 points. And there again, you don't do anything with that. I will just complete that over your team as a whole while I'm viewing your presentation and then give you that score. Okay. Our presentation schedule, as we look ahead here, we are going to be meeting together on Monday, what did I say, April 20th. And then you have essentially a week and a half until the first group goes. So blue team, you are scheduled to present Wednesday, April 29th, the green team on Monday, May 4th, the orange team on Wednesday, May 6th, and then we have a semester test review on Monday, May 11th, and then our final exam would be that Wednesday or the equivalent thereof. I mean, we really don't, because this class only meets technically 2 days a week, we don't have a whole lot of time remaining. Okay, so the next slide, what I want to do is answer some questions that are quite possibly, excuse me, brewing in your minds regarding this presentation. What does this look like, Berg? What is expected of us? And so if I do answer any of your questions you've written down, then go ahead and just cross those out. But maybe this information raises more questions in your mind, in which case I encourage you just to write down, again, any questions that you might have that we're able to discuss then sort of face-to-face via video chat on Monday. So each group, each team, we have the blue team, we have the green team, we have the orange team, is going to present over a topic of their choice for approximately 20 minutes. And so As you are planning and creating that, my expectation is that all group members are participating, that every group member has completed an evidence review, they've done some research on the topic from different sources. You're able to bring all that information together, pick out what you think is most applicable to your presentation. Everybody's able to work on the slides. We're able to get this presentation up and running. And then when you do present the information, every member of your team is a part of that. So every member should be speaking at some point. There's a lesson plan that I've mentioned several times that's going to organize your content and the presenter responsibilities. So you, on your lesson plan, which may look the same as everyone else's, you might want to give specific insight into what areas you took ownership of. What area of the lesson plan or what area of the content was your responsibility in order to help and assist the group. And again, each student will upload a copy of that lesson plan. I don't really need to get into technology. This is more an item for when we did the face-to-face portion, but everyone will be utilizing technology as we go through this. And then a graphic organizer is presented to classmates. And so there's something that is going to hold your peers' attention and hold them accountable to actually watching your presentation and completing either on the computer or printing out while they're viewing your presentation. And then a reference section, that is all of your articles, websites, citations should be present at the conclusion of the presentation. Any quoted material should be referenced in APA style. So what is this going to look like? Well, as a group, you are going to create a presentation, Google Slides, PowerPoint, something like that. And at 11 o'clock a.m. on the morning of your team's scheduled presentation, we will all get onto WebEx, just like we've done in the past, and we'll have a few moments to kind of talk through any questions or concerns. But then one of you will share your screen with me, and you will take turns going through your slide presentation. And as you do that, I'll complete the rubric to assess your presentation. I will also be recording your presentation at that time. And then what I will do immediately following your 11 o'clock presentation to me, I will upload that onto my YouTube channel and make it available to students in the classroom. So I'm anticipating students will be able to access your group's presentation beginning around noon, 12 o'clock, on the day that each group's presentation is due. What I will do is I will have a video link to your presentation, and I will also have a copy of your graphic organizer. And the responsibility of every student in the class, except for your team that's presenting, will be to view your presentation and complete that graphic organizer. Those students will submit the graphic organizer in order to receive participation points for that day. So you will be presenting to me via technology, via the WebEx meeting platform, and I will just simply record that and then provide a link or a video to other students. So once again, I encourage you to consider any questions you might have between now and Monday to make sure that you access all of the documents we're going to take a look at here in a minute under Module 5 on MyUSF. And then write down any of those questions so that so we can be sure to hit those. Once again, our meeting times for Monday, April 20th. For the blue team, we will meet at 11 o'clock a.m. Green team, 11:20, and orange team, 11:40. I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second and pull up Module 5 so we can take a look at some of those documents as well. All right, here we are in Module 5, and this is going to look very different than what you would typically see on your version of MyUSF, and that's okay. But I just wanted to share these documents with you briefly. This first one is the evidence review, which each of you will be responsible for completing. And so you see here, it's a pretty simple template, but as you research your topic. Again, whether that's an academic journal article, it's a chapter from a textbook that you have acquired or some other book, maybe it's a reputable website or some sort of documentary video, you need to complete the information here. Who is the author or the authors? What's the title, the year? What is the topic of your presentation? Where did you access this? Is there a URL for this? Did you find this in EBSCOhost? And then you just summarize the information, break it apart for us. What of what you're reading or viewing or consuming is most applicable to your area of interest, to your presentation topic? And so here is an area for any facts, statistics, quotations, or other evidence. How does this relate to your topic? What additional questions does this raise about your topic? And then down here is a place for you to put the APA reference. The best place to locate assistance on APA formatting would be the Purdue University OWL. That's OWL, the Online Writing Lab. And that's a whole website that's dedicated to helping young scholars like yourselves use MLA format, Chicago-style APA, and they have a whole section on APA that you'll want to take a look at. But this you'll be able to complete, and these boxes will be able to expand for you to fit as much as you need, and then you will simply submit this to me on my USF and then share this information with your other team members. I noted that another one of your tasks was to take a look at the lesson planning template. You don't necessarily need to begin this yet, but you see here it's a very basic lesson template. Okay, so your name, group members' names, the topic, what's in the graphic organizer, brief summary of your lesson plan, any materials you might need, the learning objectives that you have for your students, the other college students, and then assessment. And this one could be a little bit difficult because we're not actually in a classroom, though your graphic organizer could potentially be, the results of that could potentially serve as some sort of assessment, and that would also kind of fit here as well. As you read through this, these are the 5 major points of a good lesson. Because of our online format, some of these are going to be a little bit jumbled, a little bit confusing. Your guided practice for students is going to be limited. Your ability to get students up and moving, which was a requirement that I had for students when they used to present in the classroom. I said you need to have at least 3 examples of active learning where students were getting up, moving around, interacting with each other. Unfortunately, in the online environment, we can't necessarily do that. And so make the most of what you are able to do utilizing this lesson plan. And really, the whole point of this is just to allow you and your teammates to organize all of these facts and statistics and ideas into something that is easier for us to consume as a presentation. And then the final document that I wanted to share with you here is the rubric that I'll be completing over your team. And so you note that I have eliminated the active learning strategies. I alluded to that earlier. And so rather than 15 points, this will be out of 12. I do want you to shoot for 20 minutes. I give you a little bit of margin there, but if we are too short or extend too far beyond that 20-minute mark, I will dock some points. Your graphic organizer needs to be well considered, well thought out, and needs to flow with your presentation so that students are able to kind of move from point to point on the graphic organizer as you are presenting each point in your presentation. An area on slides and technology, and then an area on your reference section at the end. I need to make sure that I'm able to see clearly a slide that has all of your research referenced on that, because we need to know where you got this information from. So those are the major documents I'd like you to look at. And then the final piece that I wanted to pull up just one more time was this syllabus addendum that hopefully you still have and are looking at each week to keep you organized. Our meeting on Monday, April 20th, of course, I've already alluded to this. The blue team will meet at 11, green team at 11:20, orange team at 11:40, and here again are the members of each of those teams. And then as far as the due date for your presentation, when you will be presenting, Blue Team, you will be presenting at 11 o'clock a.m. on Wednesday, April 29th. So I will be sending you an invite for WebEx the earlier on in the week so that you are all able to get on during that time and then present to me, and I'll record that at that time. Green Team, you will be presenting at 11 o'clock a.m. on May 4th. That's a Monday. And Orange Team, you will be presenting on Wednesday, May 6th, again at 11 o'clock p.m. So the hope there being then, again, that everything will be up and available for other students to view right around 12 o'clock. I would also add at this point that as we get into the group presentations, I will also be opening up the practicum module that is really composed of 3 different parts, and each of those 3 parts can be accessed during the time that we are presenting, during that week and a half or so leading up to finals time. So I know this video got a little bit long. I hope that it did answer some of your questions, and I look forward to meeting with you all on Monday to further discuss each of these items and answer any questions that you might have.